Hello everyone. In this video, I will discuss with all of you a new topic, big data and machine learning. Machine learning is one area of a broader field, and that is artificial intelligence or AI. Okay, so in machine learning, we see the word learning here. We talk about learning, the activity that we as humans often do. So before talking about machine learning, let's talk about the human learning, the normal activity that we often do, so that we at least have some idea about what the learning is. And we know that learning is the activity that humans, as we are, we do it all the time, since very young, maybe even from the first days of our life. When we were very, very young, you know, that we learn how to speak, learn how to walk, and then later we learn about many other things about math, about history, about literature, many things. There are many ways to learn. And for example, we have visual learners. I mean, we learn by looking at it, by seeing it. Then we have auditory learners. I mean, we learn by listening to. Then we have kinesthetic learners. I mean, the kind of learning by performing physical activities. Finally, we had read-write learners. We learn by reading and writing. For example, we learn some vocabularies, right? We read the word, we pronounce them, and then we write them on paper so that they will be easier for us to memorize them. Okay, so there are many ways to learn. Now, let's have some kind of official definition of the normal learning process. And we see that learning is the act of acquiring new or reinforcing existing knowledge or behaviors, skills, or values. Human, we already know that, had ability to learn. And of course, some animal, they can learn something, but it is not at the level that we as humans do. Okay, but the most important thing is learning does not happen all at once. It builds upon and occur along a process. So the learning should be viewed as a process rather than a collection of factual or procedural knowledge. Okay, so the point is learning is a process. Now we start talking about machine learning. Machine learning is a way to achieve artificial intelligence. Now another term comes in. Artificial intelligence. What is it? Okay. We will talk about this terminology, artificial intelligence or AI. First, before we continue with machine learning, because we say that machine learning is a way to achieve artificial intelligence, we must figure out or have some idea about what is AI. But one thing we can mention right away about the term machine learning, this term was coined by Arthur Samir in 1959. Okay? And it is defined as the ability of computing devices or computer or machine to learn without explicitly being programmed. Okay. But as we just mentioned, first, we need to have some idea about what is artificial intelligence so that we can know what does mean by machine learning. because the concept of machine learning is based on or very close related to what does the artificial intelligence means. Before we find out what is AI, let's talk a bit about the history of artificial intelligence. The concept of AI was first introduced by John McCarthy, together with some of his colleagues. And McCarthy coined the term artificial intelligence in 1955. So the term artificial intelligence was coined 4 years before the term machine learning, is right? Okay. But one of the most significant activity that McCarthy did for the new field AI is this. He organized the Dartmouth Conference in summer 1956. This conference is considered as the first ever scientific conference focusing on artificial intelligence. And this conference is considered a milestone that established the artificial intelligence field. Let's find out what is artificial intelligence. AI is the theory and development of computer systems able to perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence, such as visual perception or speech recognition, decision making, and translation between languages, to name a few. So in this definition, AI is a theory or an end, the development of computer system. With computer system, we must think of both hardware system and software system. Or maybe both of them working together. And most of the time, it should be the system including hardware and software system. And these systems, they can perform tasks. These tasks normally require human intelligence. That is what is meant by artificial intelligence, right? We as a human being, when we perform some tasks, of course, sometimes we don't have to think much. Only that is a physical activity. For example, when sometimes we run or we play or something. That is only physical activity. But some tasks, it really requires us to think so that we can perform the task successfully. And now, if some computer system that can do the same way, it means they can perform the same task. It means the tasks that require some kind of smartness or intelligence similar to human intelligence, then we consider such a kind of system as the system that has artificial intelligence. And AI is the theory or the process of developing such a system or such a machine. Okay. And in the definition, we see that some kind of application of artificial intelligence. But remember, this is only very few. We have a very broad spectrum of application that we can use we can apply the artificial intelligence. So with artificial intelligence, we want the machine to think like human. And how we want them to be able to think like human, so we must have some way to give them such a capability. And here is very important detail. How can we give them such intelligence? We feed them with a lot of information or data. Such information or data can simulate the environment of our real world. And remember that on these activities, on these tasks, on these kinds of giving them, feeding them with a lot of information or data, we have to use the computer or system that can process huge or enormous amount of information or data with extremely high speed and performance. So you see, there are two important details here we need to pay attention to. First, we want them to be able to think as we do. So we need to give them something, is right? That means how to make them think like us. Okay. First, we need to feed them a lot of information or data. Second, the way of not only feed them with a lot of information or data, we need to do such a way or such activity. For example, we feed them with information and data, and then the system will process that. We also have to provide them, it means the system, with the capability to process information or data in extremely high speed and performance. Without one of these two conditions, then we cannot give the machine the ability to think like us. And the untypical of the artificial intelligence computing is what? It is to facilitate human beings, even us, to perform our tasks with much more efficiency. So, we depend on, or we need the machine to perform tasks for us. So that, we can get even more efficient level, even more higher level of efficiencies. And by asking the machine to perform tasks for us, we rely on machine to make decisions by itself. But not everything by itself. They make decisions by itself on the human's behalf. Okay. So, very similar like we are the boss, is right? We are the boss. And the machine or the computer is the staff. Let's think about that in a very simple manner. Think about we have some kind of some staff that are expert, that has expertise in doing some kind of activity or to accomplish some kind of task. If we need to finish such a kind of task, then we can come to see that staff or employee and ask him or her to work on that task for us, is right? And now we want the staff, when working or when finish or accomplish that task, he or she will make decision by himself or herself. He or she had the ability to make such a kind of decision by himself or herself. However, remember that when that staff is working on the task, that is not for himself or herself, that is on our behalf. Because we assign the staff to work on that. Okay. Artificial intelligence, or AI, has been around for a long time. That's normal, right? Okay, because we are, as human beings, we always dreaming or want. We have some kind of things or tools or machines or some way that even we can actually push the work to such a thing, right? And we can ask such a tool or thing to work on such a some kind of task for us, so that we don't have to work on it, so that we can spend such a time. Instead of working on that, we work on something else that may be more interesting to us. Is it correct? Okay, and that it is. So the idea about giving the machine or system some kind of intelligence so that they can work, they can perform tasks for us, that is not new at all. It already long time ago. And you know what? Along the history of humankind, the understanding of how human minds or how human brain work progresses and change. And the same thing, the same way for technology. Along such a kind of progress, the concept of what constitutes artificial intelligence also change. Before we think that we will make a system that very intelligent, can do everything exact as we do. That is very complex, very complicated, very extremely difficult to get it done. Now it changed. So in the field of artificial intelligence, the work of the research now concentrated on to imitating the human decision-making processes and try to carry out some kind of task as we can do. Maybe it is not, the system may be not as intelligent as we can. However, in some narrowly defined tasks, they can perform with intelligence and with very high performance.